Ben, son of Bel and the once selfish beast, is poised to become heir to the throne, and in his first royal decree allows the villain kids from the Isle of the Lost to attend Auradon Prep. From there, things go way downhill.
Welcome to the Walt Vault with
Michelle,
Andre,
Luis,
and me, Emily. We're a family-friendly podcast where we pick a new Disney movie each week. We watch it, share our thoughts, and then relate it to pop culture, fandoms, and anything else that pops into our heads. Enjoy!
hello and welcome to the Walt Vault, episode 49.
49!
We are
49?
in our late 40s.
Get out of here,
in
49.
the middle of the night, I go walking in my sleep.
I don't know what the song is.
Andre's saying that he doesn't know that song,
I have
but I
no
think
idea.
that that's a big fat lie.
I have absolutely no idea what that song is.
You know it.
I'm not saying she sounds exactly like the song, but you know that song.
Never heard
I'm going
it.
to show it to you, and you're going to know what it is.
This week, we are talking about the 2015 live-action television movie Disney Descendants, or Descendants.
Andre really wanted to call it The Descendants right there.
But no, that is a George Clooney movie.
That is very much not this movie.
Not this movie at all. Don't try to Google The Descendants. You'll get a different movie.
Not the same.
That's right. We are talking about The Descendants, the movie about the kids of the Disney villains who all live together and hang out together. And
Unwillingly.
Yeah. And this movie was directed by Kenny Ortega. You'll remember him
Who also
from
did
Hocus
High
Pocus
School Musical
and High
and
School
Hocus
Musical.
Pocus.
And stars.
Not that anyone knows High School Musical.
They
Who
know
watches
it.
that?
Everyone.
Stars some hot teens. We got Dove Cameron, Cameron Boyce, Sophia Carson, and Boo Boo Stewart.
Boo Boo Stewart.
Love me some Boo Boo
What up,
Stewart.
Boo
Boo
Boo?
Stewart.
I know Boo Boo from the X-Men movie.
Not right? Was he
He's
Warpath?
Warpath.
Yeah, the Native American
Warpath.
one.
That's right. He's got 2 knives and a lot of anger.
what was his power again? I forgot.
He can like sense stuff.
Calm down.
Oh, I
So-
had something else.
So he has
Wasn't
spidey
he-
senses.
Wow.
No, it's like he has like heightened senses, so he can like smell and see really far and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But then also he can like sense looming danger.
Okay, that's it.
I think that's it. And he might be like a little bit extra strong and
Okay.
durable and stuff like
Okay,
that.
I
Okay.
liked him. I
Yeah,
thought it
yeah.
was cool.
Warpath's
He knew
cool.
when those things were coming and was like, "Hurry up!"
That's right. And in this movie, he plays field hockey or something like that. What is that game that they're playing in this?
Tourney.
Tourney. That's right. It's like a tournament in the medieval times, but modernized.
It's like field hockey with ultimate frisbee in the kill zone in the center of the field.
right.
But it's
The
called
kill zone is
drag-
fun. I like
Yes.
the kill zone. We could,
All right, all right.
We could throw the kill zone
Hold
into
up.
the football.
We're skipping in first impressions, y'all.
Ah, yes, of course.
So, Luis and Adeline.
If you guys
Oh,
can't
yeah.
hear Adeline doing
We-
her podcast baby impression.
we are joined by the podcast baby this episode.
She's getting older, therefore she's getting more vocal.
Yes.
What is your first impression, Luis and Adeline?
First impression at the beginning? I thought this was the most terrible thing I've ever seen.
Mhm.
I was very upset at you guys.
Mhm.
Wow.
A little bit on you viewers, but not mostly just
Whoa!
on my compatriots.
You know, a child suggested we watch
Um,
this. Are you mad at a child?
I'll never be mad at a child, but
Okay.
I'm mad at whoever else supported the child's decision. She was not a child, but the children are our future.
Right.
So can't be mad at them. At the
PSA.
end of
Yeah,
the
Addie
day,
agrees.
She's smiling right now.
Yeah,
at
she's
the end
like,
of
"I'm
the
the
day,
future."
once it was all said and done, in true Disney movie fashion, I thought it was okay. Not my favorite, but I definitely did not hate it as much as I thought, as much as in the beginning of the movie.
All right. That's your opinion. What was Adeline's? Addie, what do you have to say?
She just gently rested her
She
lips on
just
the mic.
kissed the mic pretty much.
Yep, that's about it.
Hold on, she has one thing to
Oh,
say.
she's greeting. she did it again.
Yes.
That's
2
hilarious.
kisses of the mic means she liked it.
Hot takes from Adeline.
All right.
Which is really funny because she actually did like this movie. This was, let's back it up 1 second. So none of us had seen this movie. This was all of our first times. And we watched it together, which is always fun when we do because there's a lot of commentary. And but Adeline was totally getting it the whole time. Every time a song came on, she was digging it.
She did like it.
As for my first impression, the first like 20-30 minutes or so, holy moly. The first 20 or 30 minutes, I thought to myself that this was the scariest thing that I've ever seen in my entire life.
Scariest?
Yeah. Not scary like slasher movie.
Oh, like
a horror
scary, it's
movie.
bad.
Yeah, like,
Oh, okay.
oh, man.
Oh, we got to watch this whole thing.
There are 2 hours left.
Terrified.
But then I had to take a step back and really think that I was a true Disney Channel original movie fan back in our day, right, when we were
Right.
young.
Mhm.
And then I thought about the quality, and I thought, it's pretty similar.
Yeah.
Like this
On
is
par.
this is not like worse at
Right.
all.
Yeah.
And
No, it's not.
it actually was pretty cute. So I'm gonna say that after I changed my mindset, I thought it was a pretty good movie.
All right.
Yeah, pretty good.
Good. Andre,
Oh, me.
said first impression.
This one had a rocky start.
Rotten to the core.
Oh, yikes! It's still rocky. Oh man, don't like that first song at all. But yeah. Once I remembered that we were watching a Disney Channel original movie that came out in 2015, long after I had stopped watching Disney Channel original movies, then it got better. And once I got into like the campiness of it, it got a little bit better. But it's still not something that I want to go back to ever again, really.
I mean,
If I
it's
could-
itchy.
if I can handle,
All right.
if I have the choice, no, I'm not gonna watch this movie ever again.
Okay.
Look
Yeah.
at Michelle. She's ready to freaking watch it again.
And by the choice, I mean if you put it on, I probably will walk out of the room. Yes,
And do what? I have the TV.
do anything else.
Michelle,
Okay, so
go
my
ahead.
first impression was, yes, it's corny. Yes, it's definitely Disney Channel original movie, and I was judging it because we like our Disney Channel original movies.
Yeah.
We don't want to accept the new generation of Disney Channel original movies. But you know what? It
So
wasn't.
judgy.
It wasn't any worse or better than High School Musical. It's about on the same par. I liked it, and I liked the first song, so whatever, y'all.
Which is hilarious because we're on the couch. I'm on one side of like a long couch. Michelle's on the other. Andre's in between us, and me and Andre are looking at each other like, "Oh my god!" We look over at Michelle, and because it's more like electronic, like her
So I
EDM
liked
music,
it.
she's over there like rocking, and me and
Michelle
Andre
is
are like,
moving.
Addie was
Grooving.
dancing too. She liked it.
She totally
you
did.
and the baby love the music in this movie.
And Luis and Andre and I looked at each other like, "Oh my!"
I will say what I didn't like, and I don't think I ever will like, is, okay, think about Cinderella and Sleeping Beauty and Snow White, these classic princess movies where the opening scene is an old
what you're gonna
storybook.
say.
An old storybook is opening, and it's like, once upon a time. No, they had a freaking iPad. Freaking iPad book. Are you kidding me?
It did start with an iPad,
Yeah.
and I feel you on that.
Right.
That's when I
yeah.
was like, uh-oh.
But
Like,
that-
that immediately was my first impression. Uh-oh.
That's just something that makes me feel old, and not necessarily a detriment to the movie itself.
It was.
It just makes me feel like an old man. Like, what iPads? That's not a real book.
It's not a
Even
real
though
book.
I read on a tablet literally every single night.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
But it did make me feel very old, and I literally wanted to yell at the TV, no! Don't give your children iPads! But,
Whoa.
Don't give your children iPads.
so that's how it started. So yes, it was a rough start with the opening storybook iPad. And then it was even rougher a little bit after that.
So I will be honest. We watched this movie about a week ago together, and then this morning when I thought to myself like we're gonna record, I was a little worried that I was not going to remember everything, especially in the beginning because I was so
Right.
like I wish you could see my face right now. Like my eyes were so judgy. Like I had the judgy eyes
Yeah.
on.
I was making a yikes face for at least 45 minutes into this movie.
So Addie and I rewatched probably 3/4 of the movie, which I feel like the last fourth I remember very well.
Yeah.
But we rewatched parts of it, and so do you want to know my notes of this? Like
Sure.
very fast.
Okay.
Starts on an iPad.
yeah, I did.
Mm-hmm.
20 years ago, right?
Right.
20 years ago, Beast unites all of the kingdoms, like
Apparently.
all of the kingdoms. He
Yeah.
becomes king, and he rounds up all the villains and puts them on an island jail.
It's rough.
Yeah.
What is this? Pleasure Island going on?
Which
Like
is kind
Pinocchio?
of problematic because it's all villains and seemingly like criminals because
Yeah.
there's other just randos
It's like
there.
Australia.
Yeah.
I guess, yeah.
Plus all of their offspring as they come. So we're literally putting them in like a Brazilian jail. Like, I don't know. And so then it cuts to Ben,
Yeah.
Who
Right, who is the
is
son
the
of
son
Belle's
of
son.
Yes.
Beast and Belle.
Yes. And he's about to become king, so he's getting like fitted for his coronation outfit
Right.
or whatever. And the Beast and Belle come in and they're like, "You're gonna be king." And
My problem already is that I didn't like Beast and Belle, like the actors. They
that's
picked
my
for
next.
them.
It says adults, awful. Like
They didn't fit the part at all.
no, at least all of the like royal ones
Right.
were just badly casted.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean the writing I have all kinds of problems with, but just them two, Beast and Belle. Like when I'm thinking about Beauty and the Beast, nothing about either of these two people
At all.
Embodies
anything about either
Literally
of them.
at all. I was like, what's going
voices, even like I understand like one's a cartoon and one's live action, but like sneak peek, we'll be talking about live action
action.
versus
Animated.
animated next week, but they don't embody anything.
No.
Like she could have been holding a book and I would have felt better.
Right,
Like
yeah, exactly.
Like who are you? But they automatically discount him because which is very weird. He looks out the window of the castle, I'm assuming, and he sees the Isle of the Lost, the place where all the villains are, and legitimately it's shrouded in like
Magic.
smoke and like crazy magic.
Right, because that's how they keep them in is
Yes.
with a magical barrier.
It looks disgusting. It looks like no place any human being should be living, but I
No.
guess if you're a villain, you're not.
Sure.
So cool.
Yeah.
And it says probably the most mature thing in the entire movie.
Mm-hmm.
He says, "Mom and Dad, my first decree is I would like to bring the children over from the Isle of the Lost because they're innocent."
Yeah, they didn't do anything that their parents did. They
And
don't
they're
What
like,
a concept. They freak out. They literally like lose their mind and they're like, "You are not doing that." And they're like, "They're kids. They didn't do anything
Right.
wrong." And he finally convinces them, and that's kind of how the whole story starts, is that like Ben is taking this like kingly leap of faith to get 4 of the quote unquote worst kids out. He's like taking them out of like inner city urban
Right, yeah.
America and taking
bringing them to
Basically.
private school.
yeah. And which I'm like, I actually thought that was pretty mature.
Yeah.
And but all the parents and all of the adults in this movie seem to think this is like the worst thing possible, which I guess they lived through like the bad stuff.
Sure.
I
But
guess, but
I don't
still.
know. They
Yeah.
didn't seem very mature for
So
their age.
that's another thing that I don't necessarily like about this movie. I like the concept of the kid of the royal wanting to bring the bad kids over, but just the way that all of it is implemented. Like I like the idea that Beast collects all the kingdoms together and then collects all the villains together or whatever, but just the way that they go about having the villains all hang out in one apartment, I guess, at all times.
Well, I wonder if those were like because they were the worst, like they were like villain buddies,
Sure.
bro buddies.
I think so because their parents all hang out, so they all hang out. You know what I mean?
I know, but did they live together?
That's
so.
what it seemed like.
Seemed
but
like it.
but
Or it could have just been they were all hanging out.
yeah, I don't know.
Whose house was it then?
I don't know.
The evil Maleficent Jafar.
They
Ooh,
might not
I had
even
a
have
real
houses.
problem with
They might just
Jafar.
be roaming on this island.
So
So yes, it gets to the island now.
Yes.
This segues into our first song where we're introducing the children of the villains.
And just the Isle of the Lost in general.
Yes.
And what it's like to live there.
so they sing a song, Rotten to the Core.
if you guys haven't seen the show 3%, it's pretty much the show 3%. Like barrio, like straight up, no internet, no nothing.
3%.
Yes.
Yeah, they have
3%.
no Wi-Fi. They don't have much there. They hungry. They're
Yeah,
just-
so they have
they're
to steal.
scavengers,
Right.
You know what I
And-
mean? So we have Mal, the daughter of Maleficent. Evie, the daughter of the evil queen.
From
EQ.
Snow White. Yes.
Who else?
EQ.
Carlos.
There's Carlos, who is the son of Cruella de Vil.
Which
Yes.
makes no sense name-wise. Like,
Right.
Nope.
The
But
other
it's
ones
there.
make sense.
Carlos de Vil. And Jay, the son of Jafar.
From Aladdin.
Yes.
Not that anyone didn't know that, but
So
I just thought I would.
we have these 4 children. We don't know much about them other than they're singing a song about how they're evil. Okay. So
And
we're assuming-
misunderstood.
Yeah.
Yes. We're assuming they're evil and misunderstood because their parents are villains. Then we get introduced to the parents, which is even crazier to me. We have
Hold on, I need to pause
Oh,
right
we're
here.
pausing?
No, I need you to pause because I just need to make this insert.
okay.
Had I known who was playing Maleficent before this movie started,
Oh, for sure.
I would have gone in with very different expectations.
I would have been like, we're watching this movie right now.
Exactly. I wouldn't have had the eyes that I had because I would have been like, where is she?
But the thing is, like, we didn't know.
But
Where
she-
is he?
Where is she?
Where is he?
she it was like underplayed the fact that like this super
no.
huge star was in this
yes,
movie.
but also it's not like we watch Disney Channel anymore, so we didn't see previews for this movie. You know,
Sure.
we
Maybe.
didn't-
Never seen a
and they
trailer.
weren't
It is
really
an old
putting
movie,
it
though.
on the.
2015, babe.
It's not that
Yeah.
old.
3 years. Maybe they did make a big deal about her being in it, but we've
Well, they
just been
did
so
make a
far
big
Maybe.
deal
removed.
about Descendants because there's dolls, like Barbie dolls, and I know kids at work were bringing the Descendant dolls, so it was popular. Like when it came out, I just didn't know what it was because I wasn't paying attention to it. You
Well,
know?
and here's another thing that might make us feel old because here's the deal.
Oh,
we
goodness.
haven't even said her name yet. You
Right.
guys know who it is if you've seen the movie.
Yeah.
oh,
If
you
not,
know.
I wonder because I've been doing some like research and stuff for promo stuff for posting this episode, and not like 1% of the pictures
Yeah.
like on the internet are of this character.
None of the posters have
Like,
They're
her
just
on it.
all the children.
They're all the kids.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thinking to myself, maybe it's because the younger generation just doesn't know
They
who
don't,
she
they don't
is.
know who she
I
is,
don't
and
even- to
they don't
us-
care as well.
Oh yeah, but to us, she's like goddess.
But I
Right.
almost wonder if nobody knew because it's not like the movie's technically about the parents. It's about the kids, and it's a kids movie, so the kids are going to pay attention to the kids, not Kristen Chenoweth,
Yes, so Kristen
the
Chenoweth,
best person
the
ever.
Queen of Broadway, she plays Maleficent, and
Personally, I think Barbara Streisand was pretty much a queen, but I mean, that's not the thing.
well, she's like the pre-queen to this.
sure, yes, yeah.
Yentl in business.
Barbara Streisand's like the OG, but Kristen Chenoweth is also like an OG.
Yes.
But I
She's
wonder-
like
A
on the
queen.
same level as Elsa,
Well, that's what I was gonna say.
You
So
know?
Idina Menzel
Idina Menzel.
got so much praise for Frozen,
Mm-hmm.
and I wonder if it's because it was an actual like feature movie,
Oh yeah.
Actual animated movie, and maybe I don't know.
like versus this, which was
Maybe it was a surprise Kristen Chenoweth was in it. Maybe the adults didn't even know, and then they're watching this movie with their child, and they're like, "Oh, heck yeah, Kristen Chenoweth is in this." You know, they throw things in for the adults
Yeah.
too.
Right.
Like I don't know.
But literally the moment I think we saw her face before she spoke because she has such a
She has a
iconic.
distinct
She has
voice.
that freaking
structure.
Well, no, it's like the voice though too.
Oh.
But like the moment she came on screen, it was like, okay,
Us three,
okay.
not necessarily Louise, but me, Emily, and Andre looked at each other like, "Oh,
Oh.
Kristen Chenoweth."
Well, Luis liked her from when she was on Glee.
Yes.
Because she was pretty big on that show. I think for more mainstream. I don't know if a lot of people like
Know who she
know
is
her work
necessarily.
from Broadway, but this Maleficent character was literally the evil witch of Glinda,
Yeah.
the good witch in
Wicked.
Wicked, yes.
which
is
was her
where
primary
I know
role.
What Kristen Chenoweth is from, the iconic, popular, like that voice, you know, like so it was
Which
so.
that's exactly what she was.
You know
except for-
that's her tone of voice, except she's playing someone evil.
instead
which
of popular, it was like evil.
Yes, I bet they came up and they were like,
Evil.
"Kristen, listen, this is a Disney Channel OG movie." They probably said it like that so it sounded cooler because you know she wasn't getting paid probably that much for it. I don't know.
Right. That's what
But
I'm
yeah, well, how big was
wondering.
their budget that they were able to pay for Kristen Chenoweth?
I
but
don't-
maybe she was just like, I want to play a character exactly opposite of what I always do.
Yeah.
Like for funsies, I don't know. You're Kristen Chenoweth. You can do whatever you want. You want to be on a Disney Channel original movie? Sure, just throw yourself in.
I was just thinking about it from like a career standpoint. Like she
Yeah.
and Idina Menzel, they came up together, right? They both been in movies. They both been in TV. They both done musicals.
They're both wicketing together.
Right. And so Idina Menzel gets this huge role in Frozen. That movie takes off. And then a couple years later, Kristen Chenoweth gets the opportunity to do a TV movie.
That also kind of takes
That
off.
did take off. Yeah,
It's
you're
very
right.
popular with
but
the
But
children.
not for her.
right.
Yeah, not for her. I didn't know she was in it.
I don't even know if she has a toy. You know, are there Maleficent toys from
Think about-
Descendants?
Do they look
about-
like her? Do they look like
Right.
the original?
So this is what I was thinking in my mind immediately. I think a lot of people know that Idina Menzel is Elsa. I think even kids know that because Idina, she's on TV all the time singing it. It's wintertime.
Adele Nazim.
She's on TV singing.
Stupid
Let
bolt.
it go, let it go. People like kids know who Idina Menzel is because she's
Yeah.
Elsa. So do people just think that Kristen Chenoweth is Maleficent? Because I
No.
don't.
You know who kids think Maleficent is?
Is Angelina
Jolie.
Jolie.
Truth.
That's
Yeah.
so weird.
She is, though.
Right.
That's making me feel very old.
So
now, too.
that's all I'm wondering is like, did they offer her a fair amount of money to do this pretty small role in this
Yeah.
movie?
We'll have to look it up.
To
Very interested to see how much she got paid.
and you know how willing she was to do it and stuff like that. I'd like to hear an interview
Well,
with her.
the
or something
reason-
like that.
Peeps, I kind of
go ahead.
think that she's just very down to earth.
She's just
that
down to do
she
anything.
did it because she
wanted to be
do
in a
it.
Disney
Yeah,
thing.
she
or
likes
it was fun
Disney.
to
I
her.
don't
She
think
likes musicals.
she really cared if she was the star or if she got paid or anything like that. I just
Right.
think she did it because she. You know,
Well, she
why
was
not?
she was the most important villain, and she was the only villain who got a song.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Of course, you can't have Kristen Chenoweth in a movie and not sing.
Oh,
Right.
for sure.
Not have a song.
But it's really interesting
And that
to
was
me.
kind of the best song in the movie. Let's be real. So
It's funny to me too because I don't know how many people know this, but Kristen and Idina Menzel were close when they were
Wicked.
on Broadway doing Wicked,
Mm-hmm.
but have since fallen out,
Right.
and they're
They're
not.
diva drama.
Yeah, they're not
Is there like drama, or is
Yeah.
it just like we don't talk anymore drama?
No.
there's
Oh,
diva
there's
drama.
like
Diva
drama. Oh.
So it's
about it.
funny to me that it's like you can literally compare their careers.
Right.
But I also agree with Luis that I think she is. I've seen her interviewed and things, and not that Idina Menzel is pompous or anything.
But she has
but-
more of a snooty persona. Idina does
Maybe.
versus Kristen. In
But
my
Kristen
opinion.
Chenoweth seems real down to earth. She probably was
Yeah.
"Give me that role.
Sure.
Let me get on it."
I'll do it.
How fun would
I'll
that be?
do it.
Is that good?
So
I'll do
in other
it.
there you go.
la 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 la.
Michelle is pretending to be
Winston.
Winston Bishop, pretending to be Kristen Chenoweth, pretending to be
Glenda the Good.
Glinda the Good Witch.
Boom.
Wow.
Y'all need to watch New Girl. Get on it.
Layers.
So, yeah,
Shrek.
One villain.
Onions.
Okay, we've talked about Kristen Chenoweth. Shrek onions. Oh my god. The next villain I would
Layers.
like to talk about is we have the evil queen, who is Evie's mother, who is played by that girl from Hocus Pocus,
Yes.
which I'm
Kathy.
assuming
Kathy, right? Kathy Jiminy.
Himini,
I'm trying to. She's not
Catherine
on the first page
Jiminy,
of IMDb.
something like that. But I'm assuming she got the role because if Kenny Ortega
Ortega.
was the director, he was probably like, "Oh, she fits this part. Let's do it." But in my opinion, I don't think she looked the part. Granted, yes, these villains are now older. Said what?
20 years.
15 years?
20.
20.
years.
Okay. Still,
She didn't age that well.
no, she
Kathy
did not.
Najimy.
Najimy.
is
There
her
we
name.
go.
Yeah.
And it's not. I said Jiminy. It's literally the
Hanging over
opposite.
her hair. I'm like, come on.
Well, the funny thing is that it's not that she herself didn't age well because her skin was flawless.
Yeah.
But
Oh yeah, she's great.
but not for the evil queen.
Yeah.
But they
Like,
kind of took on this persona.
she was
the
trying to be
evil
the fairest
queen.
of them all,
Yeah,
and
that
she's
she's
not.
like ditzy, like let's just be beautiful and find a prince. They took it like
Yeah,
that way,
for sure.
you
Right.
know. Which to me is not the evil queen.
Well, equally
because we watched too much Once Upon a Time is what happened.
Well, that, but even in Snow White, Evil Queen is straight evil.
Right.
Like she's not
She wasn't that evil. in
pouncy
this.
flouncy at all.
Right.
But then
She wasn't
the-
like I want to be fair and put blush on my face, and
right.
that's what they took it as.
Well, and maybe the idea was that had she gone for the man and not the glory, then her life would have been different.
Right.
I don't know.
guess.
She's the vain one, so they went.
Yeah.
I wasn't
in a
into
vain
that
direction.
interpretation.
But as much as I don't like that interpretation, that one was miles above Jafar's interpretation,
Jafar.
which literally made me want to
So weird.
throw
What is-
things.
So they turned Jafar, who is a vizier in the royal castle, whatever,
Yeah.
of a Middle Eastern country called Agrabah, and then
Which is supposed to be in the Middle East.
yes, and then they took the character, and they kind of just made him like a stereotypical like
Indian
dude who is like teaching his son how to like pickpocket
Thieve.
and stuff, and
He literally has his son go out and thieve to put stolen things into his like convenience store.
And
Right.
What we mean by stereotypical is what the entertainment business makes a stereotypical.
Sure,
for
sure.
Indian man.
yeah.
And it's so like
But also, there was just like nothing from the Jafar character
He was
there
more
at
of an
all.
Aladdin than a Jafar.
right.
Yeah, like,
It's like a
Jay.
pickpocket.
Jay was definitely seemed more like Aladdin than.
Yeah, I could.
Than
If they
Jafar.
said he was Aladdin's son, I probably would have believed it more.
I didn't like it because I thought it was kind of demeaning. I'll be honest.
Right. Yeah.
For two different reasons.
Adeline
I thought it
agrees.
Yeah. Adeline, didn't like
Adeline
it
totally
either.
gets it. I thought it was demeaning to the Jafar character who was super stately.
Yeah, one of my favorite villains.
Like I get that he had got knocked down, but I feel like he would always keep that like I'm better than you attitude.
Right.
But then also because I felt like it was kind of like culturally insensitive.
Yes.
It
Exactly.
was.
The other ones are so like this is gonna make no sense, but like culturally androgynous. Like I have
they're
no
very
idea.
they're very surface level.
Yeah, like maybe they're European, but you're not really sure.
Sure.
But like he's very obviously Middle Eastern, and I felt like that was like
Yeah, and that's
okay.
It was
all they
just
took from it. They
very
were like,
strange.
"Oh, he wears a turban.
And he
I know
barely,
exactly what to do."
barely said anything in the movie. Like to me, Jafar and even Jay really were kind of irrelevant. They kind of fell through the cracks a little bit for me.
Yeah.
But our last villain, who is probably my second favorite, of course, Kristen Chenoweth's Maleficent was my favorite. But we had
Cruella DeVille, played
She was
by
great.
Wendy Raquel Robinson.
okay. I loved that interpretation.
And
It's
they-
She was
ridiculous.
funny.
They let her go off, and she had a very fun time playing Cruella DeVille.
They didn't get the baby.
Yeah, they made her like an older, crazy, kind of like a cat lady.
like
Yeah,
like for
yeah,
sure
yeah.
crazy, and that was fantastic.
and
I
it's-
loved it.
And it makes sense for her. Like her fashion career fell off or whatever, and now she's like raising a daughter on her own or whatever. She just has to go a little bit nuts to keep up her fashion looks or
And-
whatever.
Her son is literally afraid of dogs, which I think is
Because she says that
So
dogs
funny.
are vicious.
that like
vicious creatures. or
pack
something.
animals.
Yeah.
Which is so funny because I feel like she did the opposite of what the other. Well, I guess the evil queen kind of did this, but I feel like she flipped it like to make herself look better. She was like, "Oh no, I'm not the evil one.
Right, yeah.
The dogs
Dogs
are evil."
That's why I wanted to round them up and kill them and turn them
Right?
into coats.
So like the kid is literally so afraid of these dogs. That was funny.
That's
that
funny.
was very very
Yeah.
So
good.
funny. Yeah, it's interesting how these parents kind of implanted these weird lies into their children's heads, like you're saying. So obviously the evil queen was telling Eva, you need to get a prince. This is how you put on makeup. This is how you look beautiful and all this stuff. So
And
maybe
she gave
she's-
her. Oh, I'm so sorry.
No, so maybe she's overcompensating for the fact that she didn't get a kingdom, you know?
Well, and she literally gave her every single skill that Snow White had.
Yeah.
The
Right.
cooking, the cleaning, the sewing, the being a good house person,
Mm-hmm.
you know, being able to attend to a prince.
Right.
So it's funny.
So this
that
is what it takes to be the fairest one of all. Then my daughter.
Then my
will be the
daughter will do
fairest one
that.
of all.
And then
which I won't lie. I was like, well, at least she gave her
A
some
little
good
bit.
work ethic. She's
yeah,
kinda
Evie
stupid,
was
but,
fine. I
like-
liked Evie.
I
Turned out great.
I think Evie was my favorite one of the kids.
They all turned out okay. Even Carlos messed up in the brain with the dog. Turned out okay. He's just terrified of dogs. It's just very strange, but I mean, it's not the worst thing to fear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Mal just wants to, you know, you got to
She
prove
wants
yourself
to
to
be-
Kristen Chenoweth.
Yeah, just as evil as her evil mom.
Yeah, if you were the mistress of, literally the mistress of evil's daughter, that's got to be hard. Like,
Yeah, because you're expected
Maleficent
to be
is
as
like
bad.
the worst.
Oh, for sure.
Like she's
Yeah.
straight up crazy. Like we've done Sleeping Beauty, we've talked about her. She's a great villain, but she's crazy. So to be her
Well-
daughter wouldn't be that fun.
I don't know. I mean, well, I understand what you mean by crazy, but like, I feel like Cruella DeVille is crazy.
Yes.
Like
Yeah, it's crazy in the head.
like in the head.
Mhm.
But
No,
like,
I mean like crazy evil.
oh yeah, she's just like straight evil.
Yeah.
Yeah,
She
I-
cursed
yeah.
the entire kingdom
I also
because she
find-
didn't get invited to a baby's birthday
Yeah,
party.
I also find it interesting that we don't.
Stupid christening.
Little stupid.
That's right. They mentioned that in this movie.
We don't know who their other parent is. Like we know who their villain parent was, but who was the other half?
I'm assuming it had to be a villain because, like, who else are you procreating with
Actually,
on this?
I think because I looked up a couple of things today, and I think that might be covered in like Descendants 2 and Descendants 3, like who Mal's father is or who Evie's.
See,
father
Andre's trying to
is or
watch
whatever.
the sequels.
I really am not.
I see your eyeballs. You're like,
Listen, I was
Oh, I'm
trying.
invested. I'm watching.
I was trying to
Descendants
watch
too.
some behind the scenes stuff on YouTube, and it was all just like 10 facts about the cast from Descendants 2 and stuff like that. And so I saw
like,
I saw a couple
so you
headlines.
were reading on it.
You're
He
like,
I
liked
was
it.
attempting to read.
As
yeah.
much as I would like to say I'm not invested in it, whenever there's a second movie, I just like get so anxious. I'm like, I have to watch it. So for sure, I'll be watching the next ones.
well, and you know that there's a third one coming out.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's good. It can come out soon, and I'll watch them both, and I'll be done. So, anyways, we take these 4 children, and their parents hear that they are going to get to go to, quote unquote, I guess, the mainland.
Yeah.
They get to go to Oradon Prep.
Yeah.
So, Maleficent has this plan that she's basically telling these 4 children that they need to go and find the fairy godmother's wand.
Right. So that's
they're
that's
like,
another.
Do it, schmooze, bring the wand back to me.
Because
So-
there's no magic on
On
the
the Isle of
on the
Lost.
island, and so what makes Maleficent so powerful is her scepter, but her
Right.
scepter doesn't work when there's no magic.
magic.
So she is hoping that with the magic wand, they can lift the
They
spell.
can lift the
and
spell,
they
get
can-
off the island,
take
and
over?
take over, and be fully evil potential again.
But we did miss the one cool thing that she does with magic that I didn't think she would be able to do. But she does this like cool mind control green eye thing.
Oh yeah, that's
Oh,
right. So
yeah.
magic doesn't exist there, but her and Mal can have a green-eyed stare-off at each other.
Yeah,
I
it was.
didn't really get what that was, but it was pretty cool.
Yeah, they don't use it on anybody else except for each other, do they?
Louise said it's a pissing contest. I know that we're not actually supposed to say that, but it's a thing.
Sure.
But it was interesting because it almost was like mind controlling, like ESP,
Yeah.
like because she was looking at her,
It
and she
re-
was like,
It reminded
It's like,
me
agree
of,
with me, agree with me.
It reminded me
type
of
thing.
Jafar's scepter.
exactly.
Yeah.
Which would have been interesting had he done that.
Right, yeah, that would've been
instead.
cool.
Like he had been like won over to Maleficent's side and been like, "This is what we're gonna do."
Yeah.
Interesting.
But I thought that was kind of a cool little mini
It
edition
was cool.
Yeah.
of what they did.
What they can do. Yeah, so,
So
they're on
basically,
the hunt for the
they're on the
fairy
hunt for the
godmother's
wand. These 4 children are extremely pressured to please their parents and bring back this magic wand.
So
Said magic wand.
before they leave,
They're rotten to the core.
they're rotten to the core. Maleficent has to get into her safe to give Mal her spell book that
Right.
doesn't work on the Isle, of course. And so, do you remember what the safe was?
It was the refrigerator.
It was the freaking refrigerator, and she couldn't figure out how to get into it. And so she was like, "EQ, come help!" And like she couldn't figure out how to use the handle on the fridge. It was very
I
funny.
hate that they call her EQ.
So funny. And so she opened up the freezer, and it had been in the freezer that whole time.
Just in
So
the freezer.
stupid. And then
Yes.
EQ gives Evie
Yes.
her mirror, handheld mirror in this version.
Yes.
Right.
So they all kind of have a thing that they're supposed to do there, except for Carlos. Carlos is kind of tagging along.
Yeah.
He's just doing his thing.
Supposed to hang
He's
out.
honestly kind of a weird kid.
Wear his tail.
Yeah. Jay's supposed to be like pickpocketing the royals,
Right.
which I'm sure is going to score big for Jafar back home.
Yeah.
But
All the jewels
yeah.
that Jafar can
So they
want.
get picked up by the Oradon Prep limo.
Hilarious.
Right.
Eating some candy, doing some fun things.
Driving over a magical
Carlos
bridge.
eating chocolate.
This it seems like the first time they've ever had any type of candy.
Yeah.
So these kids go literally ape over
Oh, for sure.
over this candy.
I would too. So they go through the barrier, and they're greeted at the school by Ben, so the son of Belle and the Beast, whose girlfriend is Aurora's daughter.
The worst.
Who's literally the worst person ever.
Right. She's just an awful
What's her
person.
name?
She's a lot.
Maureen? No, that's
No, I don't
Her
remember because she
name
was
is
irrelevant.
Jane.
I didn't like her.
No, is that the
No.
name? No, Jane was the other one. Audrey.
I was going to say
Yes.
August. So
Audrey.
good. Close.
Yeah. So Audrey is in a relationship with Ben, I guess. He doesn't seem to like her at all in any way,
No,
shape,
he
or
does
form.
not seem
He
to be
doesn't
into
care
that
about her
relationship whatsoever.
even a little bit. So Ben starts making eyes at Mal. Mal starts making kind of eyes at Ben, even though he's a goody two shoes.
guess.
Like
Yeah.
evil eyes.
Yeah, evil eyes.
She has beautiful purple hair. I dig it.
Which is so funny because Dove Cameron, the girl that plays that character, has like the blondest blonde hair
Right.
Like bleach blonde hair.
Yeah, but like I don't know if she has it any other color like at any other point. Like it's
Yeah.
always super, super, super blonde.
I find all of the costume choices for the kids to be, at least at the beginning, just kind of strange. Like Mal is wearing a lot of purple.
And
Yeah.
green at first.
Yeah,
that's
and a
Maleficent
little bit of
colors.
green, but I think of Maleficent as straight evil green. She's got the green fire, she got a green face.
Well, I think of purple with her.
But I never associate her with purple. But I mean, that's fine if her kids want to wear purple or whatever. Carlos wears a tail and shorts.
And a lot of red, white, and black.
Yes, red, white, and black,
Yeah.
which makes sense. But he looks like a Kingdom Hearts character the way he's
With his
dressed.
hair, too.
Yeah.
His hair is bleached,
Uh-huh.
yeah.
And then Jay, he's got a lot of orange going on.
And
Evie's kind of blue.
like, he's the one that kind of looks more like Aladdin. Like he
Right.
looks like he.
Once again, they took like nothing from actual Jafar for this
See,
particular
I didn't
kid.
mind the costume choices. I thought they were good.
Evie is like fancy,
Yeah.
fancy thrifter.
Yeah,
I really
Evie.
liked her a lot. I liked the costume
Did you
choices.
see? Did you notice what her purse was?
No.
It was it like the box that they were gonna put Cinderella's heart in?
Was it?
Literally
Bring
like
me her
it's like a
heart.
box purse, and it's like it's the heart box purse. It's
yeah.
so
So
funny.
that's cool. That was a good.
I
that's a
thought
good
that was
costume choice.
precious.
But yeah, their outfits get better as the movie goes along. But
Well-
those first outfits, I do not like.
Well, and I was
Mind
thinking
them.
about that today when I was rewatching it. I wonder if it's supposed to like show their progression into like normal society.
Oh, okay.
Because like
Those are
in the
their evil
beginning,
outfits.
it was rough,
Yeah.
like really, really bad. And then as it moves on, they get less and less. Like I don't want to say trashy because that sounds that puts off the wrong impression.
Right.
But like they get less and less like random, seemingly
it's
random.
less edgy
Yes.
because they're very edgy in the beginning,
And then it comes kind of full circle where they're wearing like almost full ball gowns, but they still
Right.
have like their little evil flair on
exactly,
it.
yeah,
So it's like they're assimilating almost.
yeah. Okay, that's a good explanation for.
Yeah,
Well,
I'm okay
does that
with
make you feel better?
Why their costumes are so god awful in the beginning?
I didn't mind the costumes, but that's because I imagine myself wearing them, and they're pretty dramatic, and I dig it.
You know, one thing I want to say, I know that we're not like on music yet, but I want to say this because it happened only in the beginning of the movie and it drove me insane. I realize I already made a Shrek reference. Sorry. But the orchestrated like score that was only used in the beginning of the movie, it happened like 3 times, I think, reminded me of Shrek.
Really?
So hard.
I think I noticed.
It drove me insane. Literally, it was like na 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 na, and I was like,
And it was
"What
bugging
is
you.
this?" That I mean, I watched so much Shrek as a child, the first one,
Right.
That song is like embedded in my psyche. So when it's playing, I was like, "What is this?" And it happened a couple different times, and the last time it happened was right when they got to the school, and that's why I wrote it in my notes like,
Gotcha.
"What is this?"
Interesting. The music was composed by David Lawrence, and he did not do Shrek, which is what I was checking on. But he did do Cheetah Girls and High School Musical and High School Musical 2. So I think he works with Kenny Ortega, a
probably.
lot. Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like they double used some music there and like changed literally one note in there somewhere because I was so
I
thrown
do
off by
notice
that.
that kind of stuff quite frequently, but
That-
I did notice it.
That is a thing that happens in movies, and I bet it happens
lot.
in TV movies a lot. Is that
Oh, for sure.
Is that like producers before a composer is hired will put in like test music, and they'll just pull test music from anywhere. So they might have pulled it from Shrek, and they'll go, "Oh, okay, I want something like this." When we actually get to composing the music, and then they give that to the composers and show them exactly what they want, and the composer's like, all right, I guess I'll just do a riff off of some old Shrek music. Or
Right?
whatever.
That very well could have been because it had. Which I mean, that movie has the same beginning too,
Right,
where it's
yeah.
like the open storybook. So maybe it was just I don't know.
Yeah,
it
it's
was
just-
just
it's
too
just-
reminiscent for me.
The themes are very similar.
Nobody likes you, but you become a prince and a princess. Boom, layers.
theme.
We're gonna
Layers.
flip this royal story on its head.
Yeah, so then
And there's a short person in the movie. His name is Carlos.
he is pretty short. I liked him though.
He's the only one that looks like a kid.
He was
all
silly.
all the rest of them look much older.
could be in
But
there.
I think
Carlos,
the rest of them are much older.
In their 20s and
Probably.
stuff,
Carlos was in a different Disney Channel show. I can't think of what his actor. So he's not that old. He might still be a teenager.
Carlos was born in 1999. His name is Cameron Boyce.
He's a child.
1999. And he was
Oh, he's 19 now. Then.
He was on Jesse?
Jesse.
Jesse?
Okay. Sure.
I don't know what
Oh
that
yeah,
is.
he was one of the kids.
Yeah.
My sister used to watch that.
On Jesse.
So he was definitely, and a couple years ago, he was probably like 16. You know, when
Sure.
they were filming this,
Yeah.
15 or 16. That makes sense.
Actual teens.
Okay, so we have these evil children, and they get their classes, and they get their dorms, which are really, really cool. And I find it hilarious that one of their classes is Goodness 101. Hilarious.
Remedial goodness.
Right. Yeah, because they have to go
Remedial,
into the
yeah, they gotta
remedial
go
class.
way, way
and it's
back.
just them four, right? In that
Yeah,
class?
and then at one point she's like, "Is this a new class?" And Doug's like, "Yeah."
Doug! Oh my
Oh,
god,
Doug.
Doug! I
He
love
sees,
him.
he sees Evie and he goes, "Hi ho."
Oh,
Doug is the son of
dopey.
Dopey, the dwarf from Snow White. And
Like, why dopey? I mean, they're all pretty dopey, but like,
He looks like Dopey. He's got big ears like Dopey.
none of the other we weren't introduced to any of the other dwarves' kids. So I'm
Just
going to
Dopey.
assume that Dopey is the only one who got it together and started a family. Those other dwarves, they're just high-hoeing, getting their mind on.
So is Doug part dwarf?
Yeah.
he just
Oh.
didn't get a recessive gene.
Yeah. Anyways, we meet Doug, who's probably the best. He's a nerdy kid. He wears green. And
He wears green.
Where's Green?
hi ho. He has things for
Hi,
Evie, which I
oh.
think is hilarious because Evie was from said Snow White movie. If you think about it, it's kind of funny.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
because
yeah.
her mom is the evil queen, so
Yeah,
she
the-
was
So
the Snow White
Snow
villain.
White hung out with the dwarves, and she's it's so funny. I think it's
Well, she's pretty Snow Whitey,
Right.
she is.
so you can
So it makes
imagine
sense.
why
That
he
makes
high hos.
Yeah.
It's literally so funny.
I do love what you said though, how like the dorms are really cool.
They
when
are.
they first walk in, Evie, her face
It lights
was
up.
like, "This place is so
She literally opens her mouth and is like does like a silent scream, and Mal is like, ugh, close the curtains.
disgusting," and she's like, "It's so beautiful." And actually, everyone really likes their room except for Mal, because like the boys get like super cool like video games that you play in like a windowsill.
Yeah.
Oof, that video game. That video game looked really bad, but I want to play it.
Oh,
Right?
God.
Well,
Very
because it's
badly.
like it kind of
like-
reminds me of like a Wii, like
Yeah.
or
it's
like
a
a
Wii or
Kinect
like a
or
Kinect.
something. Wii thing.
Yeah. And
But,
he's
like,
just fighting stuff
fighting
over
and-
and over again. The same animation because they didn't want to animate too much
Yes.
video game.
they definitely replay the animation multiple times.
You know what I think is funny about this movie, though, is that granted these are the children of villains, but they're really not that bad, and they're actually really nice kids and don't turn out to be evil in the end.
Right, yeah. That's
You know?
what Ben was.
But
That's Ben's whole
the
hypothesis.
children of the good guys are jerks.
Well, yeah, because they're privileged little so-and-sos.
Charming's son, ugh,
Chad Charming.
Chad
Who,
Charming
Chad?
is the worst.
Chad
want-
is the worst
I'm gonna
character.
tell you
So
what I
bad.
wrote
He's
in
so
my notes.
Dumb.
I wrote
They went a little stereotypical with those characters too, but
Chad Prince Charming Jr. is a gross waste of space. I hate him. That's what I
he's
wrote.
literally the worst ever. He somehow convinces Evie to do all of his homework for him. Oh gosh.
You want to know one thing I really didn't like about this movie? Like on one side it was funny and I liked it because it like let them kind of get more into like the social friend thing. But like so Mal, she has the spell book, and now that she's on the mainland,
Right,
she
she
can
can
do
do magic.
magic.
Uh-huh.
So she like starts doing the hair of all the girls,
Which is so funny.
because
And
they
they all
want to be
love it.
edgy, which
Yeah.
is hilarious. I think that's really funny.
Well, she charged him like $50, something like that.
yeah,
That's
Mulan-
pretty good for a magic
Yeah,
spell.
Mulan's,
Mulan's daughter
daughter was
comes in-
like $50.
She's like, "I know you don't like us and all, and you're evil, but like, I'll pay you $50 to do my hair."
So
I
funny.
was like, "All right."
Did Mulan's daughter have a name? I don't
I
think
don't
they
remember.
ever. She just introduced herself as Mulan's daughter.
I want to say it was Lonnie, but I could totally be lying too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
but
but-
she does say she's Mulan's daughter.
But the
Lonnie,
thing
yeah,
I
you're
don't
right.
like about this is that Jane, so who
the
is
fairy godmother's,
Fairy godmother's daughter.
daughter, I didn't understand what was happening at first because they were like making fun of her because she was ugly.
Right. She was supposed to be like the ugly nerdy girl or something like
And
that.
I
But
didn't
not even
think
ugly.
she was ugly.
she's perfectly fine, perfectly cute.
Yeah,
Her hair wasn't even
her
that
hair
bad.
was short. That's
like
it.
she had short hair and she had like a cute little button face,
Yeah.
like, and it was rosy and like I don't know if they were supposed to like make her like unattractive. They should have made her unattractive,
Right, yeah.
Because I don't like that. Like she was a very cute girl, and then they're trying to make her look like Mal,
thought
who is a very
maybe-
different looking girl.
Maybe they were trying to make her look childish. I don't know.
Or maybe it's just because everyone else at this preparatory school is so overtly beautiful, and the children
guess.
of all these heroes and stuff like that, that they're all that much more good looking than her, that they think that she
I
is the ugly
guess.
one or something like that.
I don't
maybe?
know. That was just the one thing that really bothered me because I don't like if I'm thinking of like now as a parent, like my kid's watching this movie and she looks like Jane.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want her to be like, "Oh my god, I'm ugly," because they kept calling her ugly,
Right.
And she definitely wasn't.
Like to her face.
Like, and she's like, "I know I'm not beautiful," and
Yeah.
it's like
Jane.
you should have given her like weird teeth and pigtails or
Right,
something.
yeah.
Like throw it like
Mhm. Give
like
her a prosthetic nose or something.
yeah,
that.
like spin it because
Yeah.
then I would have been like, okay, I get it.
Mhm.
Like, do you remember in Halloween Town 2 when like the guy was a
Oh,
ghoul?
yeah, the kid.
Yeah, he was a ghoul and then he got turned into a human. You're like, all right, like
Right.
I feel you.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I just felt bad for Jane.
They didn't have enough in their budget for a prosthetic nose, okay? They spent it all on the magical road into the into the Oradon prep.
Shut your mouth. They used it all to freaking pay Chris and Jenna with.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's all magical hair money.
magic hair money. Cash
Spells are
money.
expensive, more than $50. So yeah, those are the other kids at the school.
And you meet more as time goes on.
Yeah.
One of one of my favorite scenes in this movie happens just about this time. So the what is the lady's name? The fairy godmother.
I think it's just fairy godmother.
Fairy
I don't think
godmother.
she has
So
a-
they're in their remedial goodness class, and she's trying to teach them how to be good.
I
and
like the fairy godmother a lot.
it was actually really funny because she talks like this.
Yeah.
Do you rip out the baby's heart? Like, oh my! And all the kids are like, yeah, that one. Yeah, no, don't give it a bottle. That's stupid.
Right. That was good stuff.
But apparently the boys start fighting for whatever reason. They're like rolling around on the desk, which they do multiple times in this movie.
Yep, just a lot of
and she's like, I'm going to encourage this, but you're going to do it out on the tourney field.
Right.
And so we have our first introduction to this game that they play, which is like
It's so weird.
it's like field hockey.
Yeah.
It makes
Polo.
sense. It's supposed to be like jousting, but then
Knighting
mixed
Yeah.
with football and field hockey.
Yeah. But the reason I enjoyed it so much was because Jay is so aggressive, and this is really the only time in the movie he gets to shine.
Right, is when he's playing tourney.
And he's so good that literally he's like breaking every other kid on his team or not. Like they're scrimmaging, but he's like kicking everyone's butt.
Yeah.
And
Destroying
The
at this game he's
coach-
never played.
the coach is like, "What was that?" And he's like, "That was gold." And then he's like, "Come by after class and I'm going to show you something you've never seen." And he like looks at him and he's like, "A rule book."
Yeah, because dude needs to learn how to be a team.
Which is so funny because he was, and I liked that though because it showed him that he really was good at something
Right.
outside of thieving.
Yeah,
like,
just
Yeah.
being a pickpocket.
Well, it was also, I think his dad, Jafar, when he left, said something about there's no I in team, and team is something. And then he had to learn how to be part of a team, which
Oh,
was
yeah.
like
Yeah.
kind of nice.
oh yeah, I think that was fantastic.
It was
so
quite
also
hilarious.
during the tourney scene, I don't remember how this came about, but Mal decides that she has to get Ben on her side, so they drug him up with a magical
Oh,
cookie.
that didn't happen.
Is that
okay.
later?
That's
That
later.
that comes later, but I had to rewatch the movie for this specific part.
Okay.
So the whole reason that they're there again is to get this magic wand.
Yes.
And so they try to get the magic wand by like sneaking into the museum where it's held, but they realize
That's right, yeah,
that
the action scene.
yes, the action scene. But they realize that it's like guarded under lock and key. So then they're trying to figure out all these other ways, and Evie gets it from stupid Chad that or Dopey, it's about Dopey's son, Doug, somehow that they use it at the coronation
Right.
where Ben's going to become king.
Because it turns out like magic is usable at this land, but it's kind of like falling out of style.
Yeah.
Nobody
They got
uses that.
Wi-Fi.
They
They
got
don't need
Wi-Fi. They don't
magic.
need magic.
Jeez. Sounds great, right? So they are only going to use it for the coronation. So what happens is Mal confronts Ben and is like, hey, I heard we get to go to the coronation. Can we sit like right next to the fairy godmother? And he was like, unfortunately, the only people up next to me get to be my parents, the fairy godmother, and my girlfriend.
Right.
And that is when she's like, well, I think he needs a new girlfriend.
Yeah.
And so she does a love potion, gives him cookies so that he falls in love with her.
Not that she did. He kind of already had eyes for her, but she just like pushed it along.
Oh,
you know
right.
what I
Sure.
mean?
Yes.
But I had to rewatch it because in my mind I was like, why did he need to fall in love with her again? Like I
Right.
didn't remember
I
that
didn't
little
remember
part.
that at all. Yeah.
So that was the reason, was that she wants to stand next to him during the coronation to
Yes.
get the wand to prove herself to dear old Kristen.
Yeah, so she had to roofie him up with some magical edibles and
Yes.
get him all going crazy and singing a song at the tourney match.
Which he does. They then go to their tourney match.
So freaking funny, dude.
And that's actually
So funny.
bless you, Lou. I don't know if you guys could hear that sneeze, but it was the reason why Louie is so sadly looking at us right now.
Also, because we're talking about
Mr.
this
Allergies.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah, he has yet to say one thing.
movie. He said some things.
So I liked this one as well. This also was a Jay scene. Was, you know, he's talking to all the babes at school and he's like, look for number 8 is going to be making the winning goal or whatever, scoring the
Yeah.
winning point or whatever.
Get some confidence.
Yes, he was totally rocking it. And the tournament's happening, or I guess not a tournament. The game is happening, and he actually sets up Ben in a really cool like way with Carlos and Ben to make the winning goal.
Right.
So
Yeah,
he,
by this point, Jay's already like good, man. He's like all for it.
Yeah,
I like teams.
yeah, he's like totally invested, and I liked that because I thought he was going to be one of the last
Yeah.
ones
Right.
to get on the train, but he was
He
just
was gonna be
needed
like the bad boy.
yeah, he just needed some friends and like a purpose.
Sports.
Sportsman.
It'll save you from your thieving
But I
thoughts.
also think I think Carlos was the first one to turn good because we skipped a little bit about Carlos. Somehow,
The dog.
somehow Carlos ended up on the team, even though he didn't really want to be. And Ben was responsible for training him.
The coach was like, have you ever thought about band?
That's right. Good line.
So Ben has to train him, and then a dog just starts running towards
Right.
Carlos
It's like
when
the
they're
school
training
dog
on the field.
or something like
but
that.
apparently the dog's name is Dude, and he's the school mutt, which is freaking hilarious.
Dude the dog.
So Carlos is literally booking it, just like
Booking.
screaming, and then you know, Ben's like, it's not a bad dog. It's not mean. And Carlos's face the whole time he's petting it, he's like, wow. like he literally tamed the beast. And
Not
then he
all
takes
dogs are
Dude
vicious animals.
everywhere.
Yes, from
Yeah.
that moment forward, except for on the tourney field, literally every other scene,
He's
that
with
dog
Yeah.
is in his arms.
In his bedroom, dressed up, wearing cute little outfits.
Carlos and
Dude is
Dude.
his dude, man.
Dude and Carlos.
So Carlos turned good. Then we saw that stuff from Jay.
Yes.
Evie's, I don't really think Evie was
No.
ever bad.
Right.
I mean, she's doing people's homework. She's just doing normal teenage girl stuff. In
I feel
my
like she
opinion.
was the first. She would be the one to most assimilate
Right.
the quickest.
Oh,
Easy.
for sure.
Because she wants that life.
Yeah,
wanted
and
all
even
the
her mom
pretty
is like,
things.
get a prince, you know, so
Yeah.
it's whatever. Mal is the one that's struggling, and we see this in the best song in the movie, in my opinion. They're in the museum getting the wand, and there's these statues of their parents because it's like the Hall of Evil or something. I don't know, something lame like that. And her Maleficent mother statue comes to life and sings a whole song with her about
Do you want to be evil like me?
Evil
which
like
is
me.
the best song. Might be the only good song.
You
on the
want to
movie.
know my issue with that song?
What?
It's literally Popular and Defying Gravity put together.
That's why I love it.
Not like the momentum of Defying Gravity, but like the effects.
It's
Like-
hilarious.
Like, what is this?
But I think that's why it was so funny to me. I'm like, really? They just did that? It was great.
It reminded me of the Mother Gothel song from Tangled as well.
A little bit.
Yeah.
A little
like
bit.
Dramatic.
Yeah.
Very
Yes.
Broadway-esque song.
Yes.
I-
Because it's Kristen Chenoweth.
I think that Kristen Chenoweth could have had a slightly better song. I don't know.
That was
one
probably
didn't-
good.
It didn't impress me.
It's as good as it's going to get for a Disney Channel original.
Yeah, I guess so.
I don't like that movie.
No?
I don't like that song.
Yeah, I don't
You
know.
know,
I like
my
it.
favorite song in the movie
What?
hasn't happened yet.
Oh, okay.
But it also wasn't written for this movie, so that's probably why it was my favorite.
Oh.
Because it was Pierre
You
Guest.
know, I'll do always to be.
That's right.
W-I-C-K-E-T. That one.
What in the world is that?
That's from
song you sang.
the next movie.
Oh.
Oh,
you
how
already
do you
jumped
know it?
ahead.
My little sister listens to that song for some reason.
Oh.
okay.
Well, then how would I know it?
Yeah, we didn't know you had
Oh.
preemptive knowledge on Descendants. Thought we
I
were
don't
coming
know.
in fresh.
No, when they say
Hey, Lou.
acapella, be our guest. That song was legit. But it's because that song was from a different movie.
True.
That's right.
Do you
But anywho,
have? Oh,
what? No,
he doesn't have one.
he will not have
will
a
not
battle,
have
he
one.
says.
No.
I think we should battle on the music. Which one's the worst?
Oh, okay. I know. I
Or the
got a,
the best?
got a winner.
Maybe a
Oh,
best?
Yeah. Should we do it? Dun 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 song battle.
You can read us the list of songs.
So
Andre.
this week we're gonna do a quick little battle on which song from Descendants
Is the worst or the best?
is the one you would listen to right now if you had the chance. I
Okay.
guess.
Okay, let's do that.
So let's go through the song list.
So if I had to listen to
and
a
we
song.
can't put Be Our Guest because it's not from this movie.
Ooh,
I
okay.
know, because that one would win.
Yes. Okay. So
I already know-
Yeah.
I already know-
I know what you're talking about now.
I already
Sorry.
know all the words.
I
we've
blanked
got
on that.
Be Our Guest.
That's how it goes.
They beatbox.
they did beatbox a little
Or
bit.
scatting.
I don't
No,
know
they
if that's
scat.
what you were doing just now, but
I can't beatbox.
Okay, so what are the songs?
the songs are we've got "Rotten to the Core," which we hear in the beginning. These songs aren't in order, so I don't know if these are the order that they played in the actual movie. There's "Believe" that Shawn Mendes performed.
That's not it.
That's probably
That's
That
not
might
in
be
the
like the
movie.
credit song or
Credit.
something like that. There's "Did I Mention," performed by Jeff Lewis and Danny Rose.
Did I mention?
Did I mention? I don't remember what song that is. There's "Evil Like Me," which you just
Do you
discussed
wanna be?
with Mal and Maleficent. There's "If Only" with Mal and.
That's when she's
Is
in the
that her-
waterfall.
That's like her Vanessa Hudgens song.
That's when she's like, I love you, but should I love you? And
I don't even know what love is. I'm
I didn't dig
evil,
that.
but maybe I'm not evil anymore.
I did
Now.
not dig that one.
do I want to be evil like mom?
There's "Laudamus Te,"
Oh, geez, we
which,
can't do that.
which I think is a song that's playing during the coronation or something like that. It's like the Gloria.
It's Ave Maria of
yeah,
this movie.
Yeah, exactly.
That's my favorite.
There's "Good Is the New Bad," performed by Mal and Evie.
Is that the one they
That's
sing
at the end.
And then there's "Set It Off," which is like the final "We're all here hanging out partying" song.
Oh, I like Set It Off the best.
I think
That last song was
I
good.
did not like that song.
The last song?
Mm-mm, so corny.
I wish I had.
Which one was your favorite? Michelle, want to hear what
The
not
Evil Like
corny
You
song?
one. I like that one.
Oh.
Oh, okay.
Do you
Yeah.
wanna be?
I think I liked "Set It Off."
What about the
best?
ridiculous song, the RIDICULOUS?
That's right. Where's that song at?
That's the
'Cause-
one he sings
That's
to
the one he
Mal.
sings.
Yes, that's the one that Ben sings.
That actually was very good.
Because I actually, even though the ridiculous part was ridiculous,
Ridiculous.
yeah, I liked
Yeah.
the music in
No
the
one's ever
background.
spelled out "ridiculous" in a song before because it's not a very phonetic
Well, and
word.
it's,
Even the choreography to that wasn't that bad.
he's taking it back to like Gwen Stefani's Bananas, like
Yeah, he did.
Which is another song I hate.
no, but the choreography, that whole scene was really fun.
Yeah.
It was
Like,
funny.
They
Yeah,
had
I-
like the arm movements,
right. All
the letters,
the tourney players are all dancing in the background. That was
They were
fun.
getting it.
except for Chad.
Yeah, no Chad.
No
Chad
Chad.
can't dance.
Rude.
Whatever.
No, he's
Chad.
trying to get it with Audrey,
Oh yeah, that's
kissing
right.
on Audrey.
There's a whole love triangle going on between
So sad.
Doug and Evie and Chad and Audrey.
Audrey.
A love square.
Love Square. I think that was my favorite, the ridiculous song.
Yeah. Is it?
That was good.
I'm looking at the official track list now.
But I did like the last song too, because
Rock
it
to
was
the Core,
partyish.
Evil Like Me. Did I mention? If Only. Be Our Guest. If Only. Reprise.
I think it's the Did I Mention?
Set It Off.
Because he's like,
Believe.
did I mention that I love you? Doesn't he say that at the
Oh,
end?
he did say that.
Okay, that makes sense.
Okay, did I mention
Did I
that?
mention? Yeah, I think I'll pick Did I Mention because I like that more than Evil Like Me and more than If Only. But
You know why I didn't like the Evil Like Me song? And I will tell you, and you're going to be like, stop. Because it didn't fit with the rest of the movie.
It didn't.
It 100% was like supposed to be a
Run to the
Broadway.
Core didn't either.
Hey, write a song for Kristen Chenoweth.
Yeah.
Let's go.
And it was,
Yeah.
and I'm not saying that she's performed it
Right,
badly
yeah,
or
no,
anything.
she did a good
It
job.
just made zero sense in the movie.
I liked it.
Like,
I thought it
in-
was funny.
No, I don't disagree. It was funny, but like musically, the genre was not. It didn't make sense to me.
I almost wish that they would have done that song like in the beginning, like right after Rotten to the Core, like when we're getting introduced to the,
That would've
to
been
the
even
parents, something
weirder.
like that.
Because the Rotten to the Core, if you think about
Like-
it, set the tone in a wrong tone because the movie wasn't that intense as that song. That song didn't fit the most to me.
Yeah,
Maybe, yeah.
they could have cut Rotten to the Core.
They probably could.
Rotten to the core. They had to
Ugh.
do that like 10 times in the movie, though, so they had to put it right at the beginning so that you could just
That's
like
right.
reprise just that line. That's why I keep saying
Yeah,
it.
because that's like literally all Jay said.
Yeah, so they like walk him up and he's like, I'm rotten to the core.
Which is funny, but
How do you spell core?
Core.
C-O-W-R-E.
Louise said C-O-R-E. Thank you, sweetheart. No.
No,
Coal.
C-O-W apostrophe R-E. The core.
Yeah, core.
Core.
Luis is telling me from across the room that it's core. Emily, it's not cool.
Core like an apple.
Like apple?
Like
Amber?
apple?
Amber?
Okay, we need to have this conversation right
We're
now.
getting off
What?
track.
Michelle and Andre have ruined the word apple for
Didn't
me.
we talk about this already?
I don't think so on the podcast. And if we did, sorry about it. One of the things that my child likes to eat the most is apples.
Oh, we haven't talked about this.
Okay,
Apple?
she likes to eat apples.
Amber?
And for some reason, this lady over here says apple every time. Can you please explain to the listeners why you say that?
Amber?
I didn't say do it.
Because
In
when
Snow White.
in Snow White, when the evil queen turns around and she's really ugly and she gives Snow White an apple,
She's
she goes,
offering the apple.
Amber?
Offering the apple to
She
Snow
says
White.
it like that. She goes, Amber?
Apple?
But the thing is, she doesn't say it like that. I'll have you know, because Andre and I rode Snow White pretty recently, and there's in the ride where she turns and she goes apple, but she said apple, and I was like, no. So my life is a lie.
We're all getting ready to hear our favorite line from Snow White. Apple? And then she goes, apple?
and I was like, no, it's apple.
So in the movie, does she do that?
I don't know.
I don't
I haven't
think
seen
so.
Snow White in ages, but as a kid, I remember her saying it really creepy like that, like apple.
So long story short, now every time I feed Adeline an apple, I literally think
Not an apple.
in my head, I think apple. Like, I hate you.
Michelle has gotten it into my head because we buy apples all the time. She's always like, apple? I'm eating an apple?
Well, I do. I'll pack it in my lunchbox, and then I ask Andre, "You want an apple?" And he's like, "No."
And just so you guys know that every single time that she said that, she's put her hand out to me. Like,
you can't say it without the hand. Try saying it without the hand.
apple.
No, apple, apple. It's
sounded,
different.
It sounded exactly the same.
Nah, you crazy.
Half the time I wish you guys could see us because there's always motion with the words that are coming out of our
Oh
mouth.
my God.
Adeline's laughing. She thinks it's funny.
She's
Addie, apple.
She's like,
She
no.
said, nah.
Nah. That
All
was
right.
funny. So, anywho, I don't know why we're talking about that.
Ending
but
the battle. Dun-dun-dun-dun.
Apple battle.
Battle's over.
Battle's over.
Apple battle.
Luis didn't care about this movie enough to even write a battle.
Batter?
Batter.
I'm done.
It's late, guys. It's after work.
Oh
We're
my
tired.
goodness. Okay, what else is there
The
to
movie
discuss?
ends. That's what happens.
Movie ends.
I'm literally so tired. Okay, so they drug Ben with the love potion.
Right, Mal and Ben go on a
They
date.
go on a date, and then Mal starts liking Ben.
Yeah.
But apparently, when he went in the enchanted lake,
Yeah, they go on their first date, and he takes her to, like, a
A lake,
picnic,
yeah.
which is, like, literally the most romantic picnic. Like,
Pretty cute.
16-year-old, no. Like,
girls never had a strawberry before.
that's
man.
true. Or a jelly
She was
donut.
chowing down
She
on
was
all of it.
chowing, and he decides to swim, which tell him what happens.
Well, it washes off the potion.
No more love potion. But we don't know that.
We don't know that at first. At first, he's just gone for a long time. I was like, oh,
She gets
he
in
drowned.
the lake and she's like,
I literally thought he was dead,
He
like
did
her
not make
entire
it.
song.
No, probably because he was so
underwater.
confused. He was probably just sitting in the lake like, wait, what?
Like,
So,
One
you
of my
know.
favorite lines happens right there, though. He goes, "Is this your first time?" And I think to myself, like, that's a really odd question. Please don't be asking that. And she goes, "Oh, you mean like dating? On the island, we don't really date. It's more like gang activity." And he's like, "No, I mean having a jelly donut."
gang activity.
and she's like, oh, yes, that too.
So-
Luis, she came over here to talk, and then nope,
No.
he's shaking his head.
He takes up the mic and he put it down.
Thought over.
He's not invested. in this
So
movie.
she does show that she likes him at least enough because she thinks he's like drowned or needs her or something, and
Right.
she goes out into the water but doesn't know how to swim.
Tries to save
So
him.
I think that's like the first like
Good thing that she does.
real good thing she does. I mean,
Yeah.
she's helping people with their hair,
Yeah.
but
Right.
You
But
know.
for
And at
money.
this point, like, all four of them are basically good, and they don't really want to steal the wand. But then the fairy godmother just had to give him a present of FaceTiming their crazy parents.
Right.
And their parents are crazy. Like, let's be real.
And the parents have a very open conversation with them about stealing this magical wand that's under lock and key on the speakerphone. And
they have no cares.
And
They
so-
also don't know how to use the technology, which was actually very
Yeah, that's
funny.
It was funny.
She's like,
So
I
they were
can't
like-
see. Where's the remote?
They get off
Where
of
are you
that and
guys?
they're like, okay, we're good. Like, we're good now. We're not doing this. But then they go to the court, the pre-coronation party, I
think
guess
it was
you would
like
call
the
it.
family
It was
day.
like the family day, yeah. So
right.
Mal is talking to an elderly woman who we find out is Sleeping Beauty's grandma?
Grandmother.
Yes.
Wait, no, it's
Sleeping Beauty's
mother.
mom.
Yes.
It's-
It's
it's
Audrey's grandmother.
Audrey's grandma.
Yes.
And that's important because
Yes.
she would have been one of the people who was put into the 100-year sleep.
Right.
Or however many years.
Yeah, exactly.
She was put in. Yeah,
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So-
and she wasn't able to raise her own daughter.
Right.
you
So
know?
she was the most affected by Maleficent.
Which I actually kind of liked that.
Yeah,
I thought
that's
that was
interesting.
pretty cool. Like, she would be really mad.
Right.
Like, all the
Yeah.
other ones, like,
So she sees Mal and immediately thinks that she's Maleficent. Because
Then a bunch
the,
of evil stuff goes. Not evil stuff, but everyone's making a ruckus about them, and so they're finally like, you know what? Everybody just thinks we're evil. We're going to steal the wand.
yeah.
So they're like,
we
we're
are
going to do it.
evil. Yeah, so they get
And then
to,
you kind of feel. I personally felt bad for them. Like
Yeah.
you knew that kind of was coming, just because it couldn't just be like, oh yeah, they're great, yeah, we love them.
end of the movie.
But it was like, it's not their fault that their parents are
Bad.
bad. Like, I mean, if we were all treated based on what our parents did, like
That would suck
that would suck really bad.
Sins
for
of
everyone
the father.
in the world. You know, like that's not.
Yeah.
It's not fair to them. So they go to this coronation, and Mal's wearing a really, really cool dress that Evie made, which I dig. Evie made a dress, the purple one.
Oh, yeah,
with the
yeah, yeah.
collar thingy, which makes her look very Maleficent-like because it has like a collar on it.
Mm-hmm.
And
It kind of reminded me of the Evil Queen, but I don't disagree.
and it's also hilarious because this whole thing is like broadcast, like as if it's like a royal coronation, you know?
It literally
So even
was.
their villainous parents are watching it, eating popcorn, like, "Woo, steal the wand, yeah!"
Tiny apartment.
Hilarious. But then
So even though everyone's still mad at
Yes.
them, Mal is up in the carriage with.
With Ben.
Thank you. I was going to call him Chad.
Ben.
So still up there with Ben, and she had decided that even though she was going to steal the wand, she didn't want him to stay under the love spell.
Right.
So she gave him another batch of cookies that's supposed to break.
brown, like a
Right.
cupcake.
Oh yes.
Yes. Anti-love potion.
That's supposed to unbreak the spell. And this was actually one of my favorite twists in the whole movie.
Yeah.
So go for it, Michelle. You tell good love stories.
She didn't want him to eat it then, but he ate it right then, and she's like, "No, wait!" But it's too late, and he pretends he's like waking up from a spell, and then he's like, "Yeah, I've been awake a while. I know you drugged me," which is hilarious. And she's like, "You're not mad?" And he's like, "No." I forget
Well-
why he's like not mad though. I think he's just like, "Oh, you had a crush on me, and you worried I wouldn't like you, so you just drugged me." You know, like typical teenage stuff,
You know,
I guess.
Whatever.
I think that the reason
Just
that
love
he's not
potioned
mad
me.
about it is that because
Because
he
he likes
actually
her.
believes that she really likes him and
Right.
that she's
And that she is
she's not
good.
evil.
Which
Yeah.
at this point she does like him, and he gives her his little class ring or crest,
No, it's his royal ring.
his royal
I
ring
think.
or something like that, which is cute, I guess.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I mean, I think he might be a little tripped out that she put a love potion on him, which it's not. It doesn't have the same like bad vibes as
Bad
we're calling it, like
connotation.
But I guess
drugs.
For,
Right.
Like,
sorry, but I guess for royal teenage drama, that might be normal to
Yeah.
put people
Yeah.
under potions.
Especially
I
in
don't
a
know.
place
You
where
know.
magic exists. I guess
Yeah.
people might get.
So the coronation is
potioned a
happening,
lot.
and Maleficent's still trying to decide whether she's going to take the wand or not. But she really doesn't have to decide whether she's going to take the wand
Mal.
because
Yes.
because Jane takes it.
So I think at some point we missed where Mal got mad and took Jane's nice hair away. Did that happen?
Well,
Yes,
yes,
at
but
some
the
point.
reason Jane is so like insecure about herself, and because Mal kind of like put things in her head, like I can make you beautiful,
Right,
You
yeah.
know, and change her hair.
Yeah.
But yes, Mal took everyone's hair away because she was mad at them. So Jane was like, if my mom's not going to make me beautiful, I'll make myself beautiful, and she steals the wand. And when she's stealing the wand, trying to make it work, it releases the spell on the Isle of the Lost.
Right.
So Maleficent immediately, like literally must feel it immediately. She takes her scepter and
She poofs
poofs
over
out
there.
of there.
books it.
I like when-
Immediately.
I like
the
when
rest of the villains
Maleficent-
don't, just Maleficent.
I like when Maleficent is like grabbing her scepter with magic, and it's like 2 feet away from her hand.
Not even 2 feet. It's literally
She's
like
like scepter.
like 10 inches. Like she could just like reach like
Yeah, but she hadn't had magic in forever. She was like, come on.
let's
Get
do
my
it.
magic
So
on,
she poofs all the way over there. But at this point, the four make a speech like, we're good. Yeah, good. Goodness. We didn't do it. And doesn't matter because Maleficent poofs in and immediately takes the wand, turns into a dragon,
Which was a cool plot
pretty
point.
cool.
Even though it was
tries to
Not
take
the
over.
best looking dragon I've ever seen.
I expected it to
It's
be
a
like
Disney Channel movie.
like not so much larger like in the space, but like it was skinny.
They kept doing like weird perspective shots with the dragon. Like they couldn't get the size of it right, especially when it's like flying around inside of
Sure, their budget wasn't
the
that
place. You know, I can't.
But I
Not good
appreciate
for
the fact
special
that they
effects.
made her into a
Yeah,
dragon.
they could have not done dragon at all.
They
Because she's the
tried.
coolest. That's the coolest version of Maleficent
Right.
is when she's dragon.
And then Maleficent and Mal do their little stare off thing because she's telling her mother, like, no, I'm not evil. We're not doing this. They have a stare off, which turns her Maleficent mother dragon into a lizard.
Hilarious.
That's pretty good.
And
Hilarious.
then,
like Little
yay,
Lizard
we're all
Maleficent.
good.
And then happens the weirdest part of this whole movie to me.
What?
Okay, maybe it's not weird, and I get that we're not supposed to be taking this that seriously, but like none of the kids even think about like saying anything else to their parents. They're like, "We gonna stay here
Right, yeah.
forever."
'Cause that's
That's
it.
a total teenage. Can you imagine if you were like, woohoo, freedom? It's probably cool to them. They're like, well, your mom's a lizard and we ain't going back, so.
Yeah, I guess.
It's just interesting because like
I feel like they'd be like, "Send her a letter." Be
right,
like,
yeah,
Mom, I
or
ain't coming
something
home.
like that. Especially for like Evie, whose relationship with EQ is not the worst. Like it's pretty stable relationship.
Ish. I mean, on
ish.
an evil, like,
yeah, on an evil level
spectrum.
You know, I mean, they seem to like each other at least.
Yeah.
It wasn't like pure hatred at all times.
She doesn't want a prince anymore. She wants a dopey son.
Yeah.
She wants a Doug.
The best.
Yeah, I don't know. That was just a little weird where they were like, "Cool, stay in here."
Yeah.
It is. And then there's even this weird thing at the end where it was like, they're done singing the last song, and then Mal turns around and her eyes glow green again, and they're like, you didn't think this was over, did you? Did you?
That's called.
Cliffhanger.
Yeah.
Did you?
She didn't
Yeah.
say it 3 times. What the heck? She said it once.
I
know.
thought when her eyes glowed green that maybe like Maleficent
was
had
in her
like
body or
yeah
something.
had like taken control
I
of her.
totally thought
which
that
would have
too.
been really cool.
That's not what I thought. I thought maybe she was like, heh, still evil.
Oh no, I totally thought like Maleficent's like magic had transformed to her somehow.
Oh,
right.
really?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
That
that's
she had-
totally
That
what I
would've been
thought
cool
Then
too.
like
twist.
body swap, lizard swap. You know?
Oh yeah,
Freaky Friday on us.
yeah,
Yeah.
like Mal's in the lizard jar.
That would have been interesting.
Got to save Mal from the jar.
All right.
Descendants 2. Open
Mal
the
in
jar.
a jar.
Mal in a jar.
Mal in the jar.
Mal in a jar. Do you have any fun facts about this movie?
It's one giant Easter egg.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it not?
Yeah,
Yeah.
basically.
Fun facts are that it was a movie.
yeah. It's based
Yep.
on
It's
all the animated Disney movies.
Yes.
I think there are books now too. I want to say
There are prequel books. There are 3 prequel books that take place before they go to Ardon Prep, and then the third one takes place like while they're there, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, any Easter egg that I was able to find was just like how the movie related to the original story, which are all the
Which we
things we already
know.
talked about, and all the things that we are expecting. Like,
Right. Yeah.
yes, it is, the Beast. He roars because the Beast was a beast.
Yeah.
You
He wears glasses.
Things that are self-explanatory.
because he's intellectual, because he had a
reads
library.
now. Remember when Belle taught him to read?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's no money information because
What?
this movie did not come out in theaters at all in any
Yeah,
way,
but
shape,
they
or form.
still had to make it.
They did, and they did not have to
They
report
still
their budget.
had to make it.
So I don't know what their budget was. I don't know if
Huh.
this movie made money on ads.
So we don't know how much Kristen Chenoweth got paid.
No, and I can assume that they've made a lot of money off of this movie through their
They sell
merchandising.
dolls and
Yes.
things, yes.
Mhm.
I
But-
think of just like Halloween costumes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Well, the fact that they're making a third one tells you how good the first and second ones did.
Yeah.
Because even though they made this one with the follow-up to make the second one, that does not mean they had to make a third one.
Right.
No.
Yeah.
It's the same as High School Musical. They could have been done, but they
Exactly.
were like, oh, let's keep
This
going.
is their
It's the modern High School
High School
Musical.
Musical, yes.
It's
What
funny
it
to
is.
me too because we've talked to many adults who have kids, and I mean, I'm not going to say like people our age who don't have kids are watching this, but all of the people who like are forced to watch this because of their
Children.
preteen kids
Yes.
have said that they're like, oh, I really like
liked
the
it a lot,
second
right.
one, and I can't wait to see what happens in the third one.
Right.
So
Which is weird because we saw the trailer for the second one, and I was like, what?
yeah, I wasn't hooked at all.
Not super enthralled by future adventures of the Descendants,
But I don't disagree with you, Michelle, that I think because we have watched a lot of Once Upon a Time while it was still good, I have a very interesting view of all of the characters in like real life.
Like
Oh,
live
me
action.
too.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
And it's hard for me to wrap my head around this because this is a completely different
Peter Pan's
interpretation.
evil, man. He's evil.
Yes. But like but
It's
apparently like
different.
Captain Hook's son is in here, but like my thought of who's Captain Hook's son would be very I don't know. It's
Right,
just,
yeah.
it's very hard for me to think.
There are a couple different like urban interpretations
yes.
of life after the fairy tale is over
Yes.
for a lot of these Disney characters and just the fairy tale characters
Yes.
in
Yeah.
general. And I like a lot of those a lot more than I liked
Yes.
this particular version.
It's weird because I'm trying to compare Descendants to High School Musical, which I know I shouldn't.
Well,
but
sure,
if we're
that's a good
thinking about
comparison.
a trilogy of musical type movies on Disney Channel, like Descendants has probably a better and cooler storyline if you think about it. But the music is garbage compared to High School Musical's music. Like I remember playing High School Musical. It's not that great. But, it was a jam.
But
like,
you
I
know-
was singing them all. I knew all the words. And I don't know if I felt the same way about the music in this one.
And I think I know why. It's because I feel like this has zero theming. Like
Right.
the music does not go together.
There's no
at all.
emphasis on it
Yeah.
either.
No,
It's
no,
like,
well-
let's sing a song. But it wasn't like, oh, here comes a song.
No,
like,
not so much that. I'm talking about like literally the musical like
The story arc of the music.
Yes, it's
Yeah, it's
not.
weird.
It doesn't go together because, like you said, there's like the EDM song, there's the Broadway song, there's the like
Vanessa Hudgens thing
yes,
going on.
there's
The
the
ballad.
ridiculous one, which or whatever it's called, which is
Yeah,
the
ridiculous.
most High School Musically, I would probably say.
For sure.
Yeah.
But then
It was
even
a little Zac Efron moment.
even the one that you were talking about, what do you call it, Vanessa Hudgens song?
Yeah.
Yeah, her
The-
little
If
ballad.
only.
That one was like a 90s like
Yeah,
music video type song.
Right.
it was weird.
And then the one at the end was like
Set it off.
I don't know.
It
It,
was-
just
was
didn't
the
go
party
together.
song.
the
Because-
ridiculous song and like the ending song were like the quote unquote High School Musical type
Mm-hmm.
songs, and the other four I don't know what was going on.
Well, and I think that's why it's weird because if had we all been together and like listened to a soundtrack, I wouldn't be interested.
Right, yeah.
It doesn't go together.
doesn't-
At all.
it
Like,
doesn't
what just
fit.
happened?
Yeah.
Yeah, and
like
I
someone
wonder
just
if
threw
that's
up the
something
music
that
on
they improve upon in the second one, and maybe that's why people.
I know
like
they
it
rap
so
in the
much.
second
I
one.
know a song
Ooh,
from
that
the
doesn't
second
make me
one.
interested at all?
Only the one that my sister sings, which I think they threw out the rotten to the core, and then they have a new song called Wicked. So Yeah.
Yeah. Wicked. Is it Wicked?
We are. What is it? How does it go? We know all the ways to be WICKED. So they're spelling again.
They love
you know.
some spelling.
IDICULUS.
No.
So what is this Rotten Tomato? I'm so interested.
Okay, so
Oh yeah, there's no money to be made.
yeah, there's
Let's
no money
see.
to be made. I do have some TV ratings numbers though.
Oh.
So
We haven't had those before.
I know.
yeah, exactly. So before it made its TV debut, so it was on the Disney Channel app. It was viewed like 1 million times on the app, and then on TV on premiere night, it had 6.6 million views.
Wait, so you could watch the movie on the app before it was released on the TV?
Yeah, I guess so. Maybe like a week before or
That's
something
really
like that.
weird.
I'm not sure. That's probably a promotion
was
to
it
get
just like
people
a
to download the app.
preview?
It might have been a preview. I'm not sure. That's
Weird.
what it says on this Wikipedia.
Said
article.
on the night of 6.6. Is that a lot?
6.6 million. That is a lot.
That
for
sounds
TV.
to me like a lot, but I don't know how much like
How
premiere
many
night.
TVs are
like
turned on?
I
you know?
think like the season finale of like Seinfeld or whatever had like 10 million viewers or something like that.
Oh.
And that was
So
a
it's
super
quite
long
a
running
lot.
show that had a lot. So 6.6 is a good amount. Like most shows on most nights, I think average probably like 500,000 to like 1.5 million views. or
Okay,
something
so
like
it's
that.
definitely
really
better.
good.
Yeah, it's
and I'm
it's
trying
high.
to think of. I'm trying to put myself into my preteen shoes again, and I for sure would have been stoked about this movie because
Right.
number one, they have colored hair, which is super in right now. Number two, their outfits are cool. I'm thinking like Xenon Girl of the 21st century.
Sure.
You know? And number three, if I'm trying to put myself in that mindset, I'm assuming girls think Carlos and Jay are very attractive. So I bet they were excited to watch this movie just like I was excited to see some Zac Efron.
I'm gonna tell you right now, I would have been all about Jay. Like, not
Like,
so much
so-
the hair, but like,
Yeah, him. Boo Boo Stewart.
Boo boo.
boo boo.
Come on, Boo Boo.
Boo
So, you
boo.
know, I
Yeah.
imagine there was hype.
And the
Because-
dancing too. We haven't talked at all about the
That's true.
dancing.
Choreography
But
pretty
was-
good.
the choreography was actually pretty solid, especially in the Rotten to the Core song. They did
I
a
dug
really
it.
good
yeah,
job.
once again, that sequence on mute, perfectly fine.
Yeah, like the dancing was really good. I really,
Oh, what's mute,
That's
mute,
all I-
mute.
I
What's
really
volume
enjoyed
down?
like the blocking, like the way that they used like the area around them. They were jumping on carts and like
Yeah.
smushing things
Sets
and
were good. And,
yeah,
and all
that was really
stuff.
cool. So I think that they just fell short in certain areas.
Yeah, I think if I had been younger and was excited for this movie, I definitely would have watched it because
Oh, for sure.
it's a continuation of a bunch of Disney movies that I like, and I get to see the kids of like I used to be all about kids of superheroes. Like there's a show or a movie called like Young Avengers where all the superheroes had kids, and I watched that, and there was like Spider Girl who was like the daughter of
yeah.
Spider-Man, stuff like that. So I would have been extremely into this as a kid, but
See, I was very into spin-offs, and I still am.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm thinking of Once Upon a Time. I'm thinking of the Lunar Chronicles, which is like a book series I've read that's spin-offs of fairy tale characters. I'm into that kind of stuff, so I totally would have been into this movie. I can go ahead and rate it.
okay. On Rotten Tomatoes,
Oh.
it doesn't have a tomato meter score because it
'Cause
wasn't
it wasn't on-
released theatrically, but its audience score is 68%.
Okay.
An average rating of 3.7 out of 5, and then on IMDb it has a 6.4 out of 10.
All right. Okay. I'm rating...
But hold on,
Yes.
before we rate, go ahead and rate it like. Can we give it 2 ratings?
Sure.
I'm
Can we
going to
give
rate
it-
it on a Disney Channel original scale.
That's what I was going to say. Let's
Yes.
do a Disney Channel original, and then let's give it like
Like
a
a personal-
theatrical, like not so much like if it was a theatrical release, but like a personal real score.
Right.
Because I feel like for me it's different.
Yeah.
It's
like
different for me, too.
Yeah,
It'll be
I
different.
believe it is
Because
different.
I can like put myself in that. So for like a Disney Channel original movie, and especially for the times, we growing up had some great Disney Channel original movies. Nowadays,
But
they're
we
not
need to
as
go back and watch
popular.
them.
Right, yeah, we haven't watched them in a long
Yes, but
time.
I'm saying for us, everyone was like, "Yeah, Disney Channel original movies."
Yes.
I don't think kids are nowadays like, "Wow, Disney Channel original movies."
They have a lot more options now.
That's
but
There's
they're
a lot
not,
more content
yes.
out there for
So I
kids.
don't think they're as popular. Therefore, I'll
They
probably
have Netflix and Hulu.
Exactly,
and
yeah.
I would give it like a 7.5 on a Disney Channel original movie scale. Popularity wise, it's very popular. It's pretty good. But like me personally, I'll give it a 6 because the music sucked.
Okay.
But like the theatrics and the costuming and everything like that, I loved. If I was a kid, I probably would have given it a 10. like if I was a preteen, I would have been like, this is so cool.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So
I would definitely.
It's hard to rate it.
I would definitely be dressing up as Mal. Like if I was a preteen.
I'll give it a 7.5 on a Disney Channel original movie scale, maybe an 8, and I'll give it a 6.5 as like my personal viewing.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So my
Yeah. Okay.
so like my like Disney Channel original movie scale. It's hard to rate it on that kind of scale because all of those other movies that I watched and know I enjoyed a lot because I was age appropriate at the time, you know. So I'm trying to think about it from my mindset as a younger man, a younger boy.
You know what's really funny? Before you even continue, I know for a fact that Andre really liked Xenon, Girl of the 21st Century, and
it was dope. They were in space.
I'm just gonna say that was probably one of the worst. I'm not saying
I bet it is.
Like, I'm not saying at the time I didn't
Boom,
love
boom, boom. Make my heart go boom, boom, boom.
Supernova girl.
I'm just saying that if we rewatch that,
Yeah.
we
We're gonna
probably
be like,
would be
"Oh."
cringing like nobody's
I
business.
can't wait to watch a bunch of these and have to contradict myself about what I'm about to say. But so
I just had to throw that out there because it's the truism of it.
I think that even as a kid, I wouldn't have enjoyed the villain parents as that much. You know, I think they wouldn't have been my favorite because they were so different than their cartoon versions.
Okay, I agree with that.
And I don't think I would have been jamming out to Rotten to the Core even as a kid. There wasn't a lot of music that would have spoken to me as a.
I can
as a
just imagine
youngster.
Andre with like a mini fro being like, "Rotten to the core."
Nah, I was bald since day I was born. Baby.
Shut up.
So
Shut
I
up.
think my Disney Channel original movie score would probably be like a 7.5.
Okay.
Like it's a solid movie. There's a bunch of other movies that I enjoy way more, but it's not the worst of the Disney Channel original movies. My own personal Andre score.
I wish you could see his face right now. He has like a rotten to the core face.
Whew. This one was really tough to watch. Like I was finding myself being very disinterested in the middle of it, and the music was not hitting it on any notes until Be Our Guest came on. Then I like perked back up. I was like, oh hey, yeah, this movie's on. And then the performances were all fairly good. I don't have any major complaints about the performances except for Jafar. Yeah,
The adults were bad.
the adults were not my fave, and then Beast and Belle were trash. Good God. Fire them. They're fired. They don't get to come back for the second
Hot
movie.
garbage.
Hot garbage. So, I think I'm going to give this movie like a solid 5. You know? Just a solid middle of the road F.
That's not middle.
It's a hard F for me. Okay? It's not an F plus. It's not a D. It's an F. This movie was not good. I don't want to watch it. I don't even really want to think about it that much more. So yeah, I can't see myself ever wanting to watch this movie again. And no matter how much you guys tell me that Descendants 2 is like way better, it's gonna be really hard to get me to ever.
I
watch
am
that.
not saying it's better. I'm saying people that I have known have said
Right? Yeah,
that it's better.
yeah.
I am not
And
vouching for that.
I believe you guys
I
that
don't
it
know
is
these
better
people.
than this, but based on the base level of this 5 out of 10, I'm not super down to watch more.
Well, it's interesting because I was having a conversation with another mom friend a couple days ago, and she was giving me the premise of Descendants 2, and pretty much what I got from our conversation is Ursula's daughter becomes like the main antagonist,
Okay.
and she is the only only prominent African American character. So she felt like they kind of like took that and ran with it and
Okay.
made her like. Not like ghetto, but like they took her in another direction.
Sure.
That was kind of like,
Oh, jeez.
again, it was kind of a Jafar moment.
Yeah.
Like,
Oof, that makes me
Oh,
really not want to
okay,
watch it
okay,
at all.
we went there. We went there.
Maybe I'll watch it. I just want to be like, oh.
But I did hear that she raps, and that's interesting
Yep.
because it wouldn't be Doug rapping, even though
Yeah.
Doug was definitely the one getting down with the
Yeah,
doo-wops.
Doug
And
was- Doug
Oh,
doing
and
that.
he was jamming with the dance moves.
yes,
He
he
had
Yeah.
him.
He was one of my favorites.
Go Doug.
He was my favorite, I think.
I'll give my rating
Oh, you know what we should watch?
What?
Is Doug the movie?
Heck yeah. That's definitely Nickelodeon, though, right?
Oh, you're right.
I know. I'm. Well, you know what's really funny
I
about
never
this?
watched that
This
show,
whole
so I
thing
don't know.
is that there's a movie on in the background right now to pacify a podcast baby, and it's actually like one of my favorite animated movies right now. Definitely not Disney.
Right.
So there's other competitors out there. Do you guys know what this movie is?
Oh, it's Sing. We saw this in the theater.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I like singing.
I'd be
a lot.
liking some Sing.
Yeah.
Anywho.
Yeah. So who knows? If you guys want it eventually, maybe
No,
we'll branch
we are
out.
called the Walt
Oh,
Vault.
okay.
Calm
Sorry.
down,
My bad.
sir.
Sorry, I
The
can't even bring it
Emily,
up.
what's your
The
rating?
non-illumination.
What's your
podcast.
rating?
My rating. Okay, I will start with my Disney Channel original rating.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with you guys. 7.5. Solid Disney Channel original movie.
Yeah,
Sure.
it's solid.
Solid.
It's got all the things preteenies like.
It's got a fun premise.
Yeah, it was fun, and I probably would have liked it. Actually, in my teenage years, probably would have been like secretly giving it a 10, like Michelle
for
said.
sure. I would
Like
have
I
been
would,
like,
I would have never once said it
I
out
would have
loud.
admitted it, but I was watching it at home crying over their relationship. You know.
Yeah, yeah.
Same as High School Musical.
Yeah, agreed. Emily's personal score. Yes, I did watch it a second time, but I became very disinterested and stopped watching it. I could have continued,
Sure.
but I didn't. So even though I found little like the kitschy parts funny, I don't need to watch it again.
Right.
So I'm gonna give it like a.
The
But she doesn't want to say
cogs
it.
are turning
We
real
got
hard
a 6,
in
a
Emily's
5,
head.
and
2. Just kidding. No! Just kidding. No, I'll give it like a 6.
yeah.
It's
It's
not
a D.
It's better than Kronk's New Groove.
It
I'll
is
give it that.
so
Groove is
much
a
now.
better.
-10.
It is so much better than Kronk's New Groove.
Yes.
I am giving that so
Negative
many
10.
thumbs
Yeah.
up on the being better than Kronk's
Yep.
New Groove.
Luis, I don't know if I want to know your rating. Do you have one?
Disney Channel movie rating 6,
Mhm.
regular rating 2.
Nice.
Yikes.
Do you
Papa
want-
Lou is not happy.
Papa Lou, you want to give us a reason? Can you please stop making that face?
I didn't like it. Period. I thought I don't know.
You're going to
what-
have a fun
I-
time
I
being a
liked
father.
It. It wasn't my cup of tea.
Okay.
Word. My
Will you
God.
ever watch it again?
Never,
What about Descendants 2?
ever, ever watch any of those.
All right. You heard it here first.
Okay.
On a happier note, next week,
Oh yeah.
Oh,
That-
hold on. Did we didn't really say like what this month was or like
Yes, that's right.
how this all like
So,
works, but it goes into what you're going to say.
It is
Oh.
now October. It is October 1st
October.
that you're listening
my
to
favorite
this.
month of the year.
So that means it's time for some Halloween fun time.
This is Halloween. This is
So this week
Halloween.
I really
brought
wish we
you
could do that movie
I
again.
told Andre I'm already like itching to watch it. And he was like, we can wait till October 1st. And this was like 2 weeks ago. And I was like, come on, I want to watch it.
I almost watched it today in lieu of the
I mean,
second.
we don't have to take notes on that one, so we could totally watch it. I'm down.
It's
So this
Halloween.
month in Halloween themed, we're gonna do we're gonna throw a bunch of Halloween move-y at you, and not all strictly about Halloween, but you know they've got Halloween
We got
themes. They're a little
villains. We
bit
got things
scary. They're a
going
little
on.
bit villainous. They're a little bit
Spooky.
Spooky.
Spoopy.
Sure. So next week is our
Spooky.
50th episode.
Our 50th anniversary
Woo! It is
of weeks.
Yeah.
Not years.
Oh
It's our 50th anniversary. It is our 1 year anniversary, basically, in a couple of weeks. So for episode 50, we're gonna do a big, and we're gonna do a double feature.
Double feature.
I'm actually really excited about this.
We are going to compare the live action Beauty and the Beast and the animated Beauty and the Beast.
Yes. So, we're gonna watch both of them and talk about both of them on
Together.
next week's episode.
I'm stoked.
Yes.
So it actually
Get
works
ready.
out really well, and we talked about this before the podcast started. But like that, we saw Belle and the Beast in this movie in an interesting portrayal,
Yeah.
and then we're going to see a completely different portrayal in portrayal, not betrayal, in
Yes.
in two different fashions.
Yes.
I love me some live action Beastie.
Well, and it's funny because this movie is one of the only live actions, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but my own personal opinion, that is supposed to be in the same vein.
Right. Yeah.
Yes.
It's not like the
They
directors.
didn't try to change it.
It's not like
really.
Alice in Wonderland that they changed a
Right.
lot of
They added a
stuff.
song or two, but they didn't change it. you
Right.
know?
It's in the
It's
same
story.
story. It's the same. You almost feel like you can see the animated like backgrounds.
It's almost
Right.
like the Broadway version. It's like an extension.
Sure, yeah.
You know?
So this will be really interesting because this one is one of the more spooky ones. I know my mom said that this was one that I wouldn't finish watching as a kid.
See, and I don't think I've watched the animated in probably 12 years. Like, I don't think I really remember
It's
it.
kind of scary.
I
at the end.
remember absolutely loving the animated one, but also thinking that it was quite terrifying.
Oh, yeah.
Especially in those like opening scenes when Beast is like a very mysterious character and
See,
he's
I
just
don't
all up
know.
in
I
his
don't
empty, spooky
remember.
house.
Well,
I'm
and the house is
excited.
very like decrepit and like there's like torn things everywhere.
Yeah.
It's very scary.
So
So it'll be. I'll tell you guys right now. I'm obsessed with live action Beast, and Andre knows this. So it's going to be very interesting for me. I need to take it back, and I haven't seen the animated in a while. So it's going to be a little bit crazy.
I'm obsessed with
I
live
was the
action,
one
which
who
I really
had
shouldn't call him live
all.
action because he's just alive.
I was the master of my fate.
Stop it. Shh.
I love that song.
Gaston.
Gaston.
no.
Okay.
Oh yeah, like
He's
Yes.
he's one of my favorite characters in the Hobbit series.
Mhm.
Nope.
Yeah. So when we saw him here as a bad guy, Luis and I just looked at each other and we were like, "Yeah, get
That
it,
dude's-
Bard."
That dude's hilarious.
So yeah, stay tuned for that. We're really excited.
Yes. So, yeah, get ready. Watch both of them. Watch one of them, and listen to us talk about the other one, or watch the one that you like the most. Whatever you want to do.
The live action
prepare.
version is on Netflix.
Yes.
The animated is not.
Mhm.
But pull
Bring
out
out
your
your
VHS.
VHS.
Yeah. Pull out your VHS. Pull out your DVDs. Get your Blu-rays out, and get ready for us to talk about Beauty and the Beasts. Both versions.
The Beasts.
Beauties and Beasts. That's it for
All
this
the
week, you
beasts.
guys. If you want to keep in touch with us in the meantime, you can do so in a couple of ways. We are on social media, on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at the Walt Vault Pod. Go there, talk to us, comment on the episode, tell us what you think of The Descendants and how wrong we are and how magnificent it is and how great it is. I really want to hear why you guys like this movie because I'm slightly confused. You can also send us messages. Send us a DM on any of those social media platforms. You can send me an email to contact@thewaltvaultpod.com, and we'll read those messages on the show if you're so inclined, if they're good. If I like them, if I receive one. There's a couple ways you can help out the Walt Vault if you're so interested in that. You can subscribe to us on iTunes or any other podcast platform, or on YouTube and Google Play and Stitcher and all of those places. You can leave us a review and rating on iTunes. That helps us get seen by more eyes on the iTunes charts. Help us get to number 1 of the animation podcasts or whatever. And also, you can join us on Patreon. We are on patreon.com/thewaltvault. There you can sign up for as little as $1 or more and get access to our after show, A Crack in the Vault, where we talk about some of the more adult aspects of these movies. We read some bad reviews. We just give you some more extra content. I also have been posting my notes on Crack in the Vault, or on the Patreon, and those are fun and silly and egregious. And also, if you sign up at the $5 or more level, we will send you a gift in the mail. So that's how you can help keep the lights on in this vault. It's pretty dark in here. You guys, that has been it for this week. We will see you next time for some Beauty and the Beast goodness. That's it for now. The vault is now closed.